Welcome to This Explainer. Look, today I want you to literally put yourself in the shoes of someone climbing the ranks of a massive, multi-billion-dollar shadow economy. We're going to deconstruct the invisible aristocracy of the underground gambling empire. We'll trace the exact brutal steps it takes to go from being an absolute nobody on the street all the way up to the apex of a hidden world.
Okay, let's dive into this. Picture this. You're standing in a dimly lit basement. It's like 3 a.m. The air is just thick with the smell of stale coffee and expensive cigar smoke. And right there, sitting on a green felt table in front of you, is $100,000 in crumpled bills. The only sound in the entire room, just that rhythmic riffle of a deck of cards.
Now in that moment, staring at all that cash, you realize pretty quickly that this isn't just some friendly card game. No way. What you're actually looking at is the beating heart of a massive, hidden blueprint of power and illicit wealth. It's a shadow economy, operating right under the nose of the so-called real world. And in this explainer, we are going to break down exactly how this invisible blueprint is structured, piece by piece.
So here is the literal hierarchy of the empire we're about to climb. We'll start with the base reality of the underground empire, move up to the gritty street level, into middle management, up to the high finance executive tier, and finally reach the supreme boss at the apex.
All right, Section 1, the underground gambling empire.
Moving right along to Section 2, street level, where we find the lookouts and collectors.
Look, to survive this invisible aristocracy, you have to start at absolute zero. At level 1, you're a lookout. You make literally $0. You are basically a cheap, disposable early warning system standing out on some rain-slicked corner just watching for uniforms. You sleep in a cramped room with 5 other guys, you clean the boss's car until it shines like a mirror, you're a servant, plain and simple. But hey, if you don't fold, you get promoted to level 2, the collector. Suddenly, the scrub brush is gone. Now you've got a shiny suit and a metal pipe. Your new currency? It's fear. You use coercion against shopkeepers who haven't paid up their weekly dues. You see, violence keeps this whole thing running. But here's the crazy catch. That big pile of cash you just extorted? Yeah, it's not actually yours. It's a tax. You have to hand it over to your superiors every single week just for the privilege of operating on their turf. You realize pretty fast that physical force is the absolute fundamental foundation of this shadow economy. Okay, let's bump it up. Section 3, management, specifically operations and logistics.
Now what's really interesting about this slide is how things change if you actually manage to survive the streets. The gritty violence kind of fades away into a much smoother, almost corporate operation. You've survived those freezing nights as a lookout, you've collected the brutal weekly tax, and now you step into roles where you manage the floor, push back rivals, and eventually coordinate international logistics.
At level 3, as a floor manager, numbers dictate reality. You're running illegal betting out of abandoned empty warehouses, and you know exactly who's skimming off the top and who's actually loyal. Psychologically, you have become a mentor. You're literally teaching new recruits how to intimidate a store owner without ever having to raise their voice. But make no mistake, you are still a soldier. When rival gangs decide to test the boundaries of your territory, you're the one who has to push back hard.
And eventually, if you're smart, you trade that baseball bat for a laptop and basically a degree in international logistics to become the logistics chief. You're now treating this crime family like the global corporate entity that it really is. You're essentially a twisted international project manager. You design illicit routes, handle massive bribes to police and customs officials, all to guarantee those safe passage windows. I mean, honestly, the mafia practically requires an MBA these days.
And doing this requires some seriously clever corporate disguises. On paper, you aren't shipping high-end gambling servers. No, you're moving medical scanning equipment. You aren't smuggling bundles of cash. You're utilizing delivery trucks with welded false bottoms to slip seamlessly across international checkpoints. You secure the permits, and you make absolutely sure the business flows without a single interruption.
Moving up again, Section 4, the executive, also known as the architect.
We're entering the elite corporate tiers now, where brute force is totally replaced by high-level financial wizardry. At level 5, you are the architect. Now, you didn't earn this job on the street. Actually, you were probably recruited straight out of a top-tier accounting firm or a major international bank. Why? Well, because the empire has a massive, glaring logistical nightmare, billions of dollars in highly incriminating physical cash. So you step in to build these complex networks of shell companies down in Panama, You buy legitimate casinos, and you move millions of dollars through crypto exchanges.
And this brilliantly illustrates your true purpose. Your sole objective is to make the cargo dance from a stockpile in one country to a warehouse in another until it effectively, well, vanishes. You're the magician. You are literally turning useless, highly incriminating paper money into clean, spendable wealth.
And finally, we arrive at Section 5, Apex, the supreme boss.
This is the isolated pinnacle of the empire. You are now a ghost. You will never, ever touch a brick of cash or personally order a hit ever again. I mean, on the surface, your life looks like pure legitimacy. You're a respected philanthropist, you live in a stunning high-rise penthouse, and you literally have senators and federal judges on your payroll. But the dark truth? The dark truth is that you are a prisoner. You have absolutely no peace. You cannot even walk to a grocery store or park with a heavily armed 12-operator security detail shadowing your every single move.
Think about it. You fought and clawed your way up from that rain-slick corner, through the violent street level, past the complex logistics and the high finance shell games, all just to reach the top. But, as the source text perfectly puts it, you spent your whole life saving the legacy, only to realize you've become just another mammal in a cage. The goal, it turns out, wasn't ultimate freedom at all. It was simply the construction of a high-tech, highly lucrative prison of your very own making.
So, as we wrap up our deconstruction of this incredibly complex system of generational wealth and shadow power, I want to leave you with a question to really reflect on. Knowing the brutal rise, the constant paranoia, and the ultimate crushing isolation at the top, if you were placed inside this invisible blueprint, would you rather be the tactical commander executing the logistics out in the field or the ghost trapped up in that penthouse? Think about it. It really forces you to reconsider what true power actually looks like. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and keep questioning the systems around you.